Hey, folks, thanks for waiting for a few minutes there. Just wrapping up the last little bit of the last podcast I was on, and been a busy day. All kinds of fun shit going on, and mostly been a bunch of computer stuff and trying to get a bunch of this Nostr stuff figured out, website stuff figured out. And yeah, and then we had the Lightning for Liberty big giveaway drawing that we just did on that too. So a lot of Satoshis actually ended up being about $35. And so we had a guy that ended up putting his hat in the ring for that and won that. So pretty cool. If you want to check that out, be sure to check out Lightning for Liberty. We just got that done. It will be uploading on Spotify and all the fun places here in just a bit. It's live on YouTube. And here I am on my show. We're at episode 40, guys. Episode 40. So we only got 10 episodes left to go until my big 50th episode giveaway that I'm talking about. So still figuring out what all we're going to throw into that. Like I said, if we can get up this YouTube up to 1,000 followers, I'm going to toss in that 1 year of Seasoning of the Month Club. So, hey, we've had a bunch of seasoning orders come in. Nostr's been good for that. People have been very interested in the stuff that I've thrown up. He made up a little Nostr exclusive blend the other week just to fuck around with it, and had a sale of that. And then, on Saturday, if y'all had watched, we had a really good just roundtable chat with 5 of us. We got Kyle I'm going to bring on down here. We had James, we had Brian from the Lots Project, and we had Robin Holstein. And we were all talking about content creation, a little bit different, but we'll touch on that again a little bit tonight. It was a good chat, so be sure to check that out. But with all that going on, in the midst of that, while we were talking for 2 hours, I got a big seasoning order and got that sent off too. And guess what? The guy's a podcast listener, and he recently just joined the Telegram group too. So community's growing, guys. Community's growing. That's exactly what we need to see. So I will let you all know I've had so much stuff going on today that I let you all down. I didn't get the seasoning video done. I should have done it last night, but I wanted to give a little more time on the votes, and then it just slipped my mind with all the other stuff coming up. So I'll get that knocked out for you. Probably not tonight. It'll probably be a tomorrow project. Get that up, and I'll make sure I post that link. It'll go up in Telegram just like usual. It'll go up on YouTube Shorts and TikTok as well, and I'll be sure to blast that out on Nostr. I've done that the last 2 or 3 that I put up, so it'll be out there. It just won't be part of the show today, I believe, and I'll double check before I actually make it up. I believe it got settled on Sage is going to be the next one, which is fitting. We went Rosemary to Sage. So anyway, I'm going to bring Kyle on tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about a little more about equipment for home processing and all that fun stuff. But Kyle, right back in that vein of the content creation, has decided to join the old Brotherhood of Podcasters, and he's going to start one up himself, as well as his YouTube channel, which he's been posting quite a few videos up to, and they're actually pretty good videos. So you should check him out. If I don't have his channel down here linked, I usually do. You can find him easily enough over in the Liberty Meat chat on Telegram. So that's t.me. I wish it was t.me/Liberty Meat chat. And yeah, find us over there. Anyway, here is Kyle. Kyle, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I like the setup.
Thank you.
You got the old Longhorn back there, but you're on the computer now instead of the shake cam. We're not. Right. It's not the Blair Witch Project in the rocking chair.
I'm be stationary for this entire podcast.
And the old Longhorn hanging up back there. The Christmas lights are a nice touch too.
Oh, absolutely. My wife was just talking about whether or not those are going to stay or not. I'm like, they're not.
They're not. No, it's cool though. So how's the YouTube shit going, man?
YouTube shit's going good.
Yeah.
I got a video planned for tomorrow. I was just running around the past 2 days and just didn't get one out. So it was like, all right, so we're doing 4 quarters tomorrow. We're going to break a 4-quarter down, show all the cuts, show everything that goes into it. And then I've kind of like settled down on it to where I'm going to do 2 videos a week. I'm going to do a shop video and a farm video.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of split it up and not kill myself in the process. And
you've got to learn a rhythm, and if you try to do too much at a time, especially until you learn it, you'll burn yourself out on it. And that's
I'm already
the worst
feeling
thing.
Myself get there. I'm like, oh, I need to do this. And I'm like, no, I don't.
No,
Easy.
If you try to do all of it at one time, it's not even if you don't run out of shit to do, you'll get tired of it, and then you'll slack off, and then you set an expectation,
Right.
and then you start to lose it. So yeah, no, just find a comfortable rhythm and build yourself up. I've been cramming out like 3 freaking episodes a week lately because I'm trying to fix my own fuck up.
Got to make that 50.
I try to hit that 50, but it, you know, I've got a year of doing that, not almost a year of doing this shit, and to figure out how to actually to work out all the kinks in
Right.
my system. So I'm a little more comfortable building up to that. I definitely wouldn't be doing this many off the bat. So unless I had the time, if I was like sitting at home, nothing to do, working from my computer, that's doable. You can work that into your routine. I got to go out of my way to do this shit. So
absolutely. Like when it comes to the content, like filming and the content, it's not that much more time because I'm doing it. Like I'm already doing the stuff. It's
the putting it together,
situated. Like I'm not like a technology person, so now going back into all of like the different apps that I've started now and like to push everything out, I'm like,
Well, you managed to get on Nostr with minimal help and set that all up. So hey, that's if you can figure that out, you can figure this stuff out.
Oh, absolutely. I did that while being crawled on by 2 kids. I'm like, I like holding the phone like this, trying to get everything done while I've got a 1-year-old across my chest. Like,
so you did it on hard mode, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shit. So, but you're thinking about starting a podcast?
Yes. I am thinking that it'll start coming out on Saturdays. I'm thinking about probably doing it kind of like this style. It's going to be called Meet the Critters, and that's meet MEAT. And it's just going to be a podcast.
Get ready for the YouTube people because I'll already get them in my comments on my shorts because I do the meeting of the minds questions every morning.
Yeah.
And they go out of their way to inform me that I don't know how to spell.
That's fine. I don't know how to spell. So
right. I love the I'll get the community members to pop in there and be like, who's going to teach this guy about puns?
Right.
But yeah, you'll get that.
Yeah. So what it's essentially going to be, I'm going to try and kind of do it kind of like this style where I go live and there's going to be I'm shooting for 10-minute video ish. Just about, we're basically going to go through cows, pigs, poultry, and exotics when it comes to livestock. And I'm going to pick one a week out of all those 4 and just kind of take a deep dive into the history of them, when they really started becoming like domesticated, body composition, all that, meat quality, and then kind of just shoot out and go kind of like this, where it's talking to people about my experiences with them, cutting them, or raised like the handful of animals I've raised, stuff like that, or just dealing with them in general. So
some fun facts and things like that. And then looks like I lost the Odyssey. Whatever, that's fine. It can push. Anyway, that sounds awesome because there is a lot to cover when you start talking about different breeds and stuff. That opens you up later on too for when you have somebody who knows a breed well, you know, and bring them on for interviews and stuff. So, and
that's what I'm hoping for it to get to, of just kind of have somebody on who, like, I already know a couple people that I've already put the feelers out. I'm like, hey, I'm doing that. You're going to get you're coming on. I need to talk to you about this. But, no, I'm excited, and I'm excited to cover some of the stuff that's just happening here on the farm as well. Cause that'll be, again, trying to figure all that out. And because we're doing some cool projects here with our Herefords and everything, and kind of just playing with genetics and moving some stuff around.
When are you thinking about starting that off?
I'm trying for this Saturday.
Ooh, what time? What time should people try to look for? Are we doing the morning thing?
It's going to be a night thing. Definitely a night thing.
Or Saturday evenings. All right.
Yep, Saturday evenings.
Get your drinks ready and come hang out with Kyle. All right.
Absolutely. We're going to get there. It's going to be janky, but we're going to get there.
You'll figure it out. It'll be rough at first as you work out the technology and the bugs and figure out your stuff, but you'll get better at it. That's just how it is.
Right.
Only way to learn is to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I figured I would do the 4 different categories because I'm like, there's 1,000 in every category. It'll all be fine. I'll never lose content.
Well, be sure let me know when you're getting that all set up. If you want, when we get things rolling, I can always try to set it up so we could use my StreamYard and
Okay.
you could broadcast it to a few more places. We might even be able to plug it in to where we could stream it over to the Telegram group too.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Because I'm not going to run a live show at the same time you are. That's just stupid. So
right. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
That would be amazing. And if you think you aren't getting texted throughout this entire process, you're fucking crazy.
I'll probably if we go that way, just to kind of help you figure this shit out. If I'm it's not stupid late and I don't get stuck like out here in the park or some shit like that, right, I might be able to set up and just kind of hang out in the background a little bit to help out with any bullshit that might go on, just to kind of help smooth the process.
Right.
At least
that would be awesome.
Can go wrong. So yeah, no, I don't mind doing that. But yeah, I mean, we'll get you going when we hear for sure what's going on. When the inaugural episode is going down, I'll be sure we announce that all over in the group and everything too. So be sure to check that out, and be sure to go follow Kyle. What's your YouTube handle again? That way people can find you.
It is.
It's right there below his name.
Butcher 603.
Yep, Backyard Butcher 603, and I'm sure he'll eventually soon have a website and all that fun stuff to go along with it too.
Yes, I will have a website soon and all that figured out.
That's the important thing though too, because we're talking about something that can be a little bit controversial. So there's always a risk that you put all this content together and you eventually get deplatformed. They just one day YouTube goes, yeah, no, fuck this guy, and pulls your shit.
Right.
Well, it's good to be able to channel somebody to a place that's yours that you can control.
Right.
Set them up. You get them there. Be like, hey, if you like my shit, come follow my email list so you get an email when I'm going live, updates and shit like that. So later on, if that ever does happen, you can be like, hey guys, here's where I'll be.
Right. No, again, and I'll figure all that out. Let me work on getting one out first, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it'll come along, but that's just little things to think about. And luckily, especially with this community and a lot of people between me and all the other people that are in the Telegram groups, we got a lot of people who do this or have done this. Right. So we'll get you.
That's
the
biggest thing. This community is so amazing, and I can't
I agree.
Can't express that enough. These guys are awesome. Like in the morning, it's getting in such a rhythm now. It's like if I wake up at 7:05, I'm jumping out of bed like I'm late for work.
I know, right?
We're Eastern, so it's like
it's coffee time. What the hell?
I'm like,
it's about 5:30 every morning. I get my ass up because I'm trying to get my coffee started before I got to start thinking. You know. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I'm like, God, now I understand. I always wondered growing up. You go to the little cafe or whatnot in town.
Yeah.
And be like, what are these old dudes every morning sitting there drinking coffee and reading the newspaper and bullshit and every fucking morning? What is it about? I get it. Like maybe I'm getting old, but now I get it. It's the routine and it's getting your mind up and running and working in the morning. So if y'all don't watch Brian's show over every morning, he's got his podcast broke down into a couple of them. He's got the Lots Project podcast, and he does his little coffee moment, but he has his little perfect cup question. If you just want to listen to a 15-minute blurb in the morning talking about some deep topic, he splits that out, but it's usually about 45 minutes. We all hang out and bullshit. So it's something to do while we drink our coffee and gives us an excuse to get up and get moving and not hit that snooze button. So, well, anyway, we should probably talk about butchery other than just, we spent 2 hours the other night talking about content creation. So
yeah. Is that what we're doing on this show?
I think we do that sometimes. Every once in a while, we actually talk about killing animals and shit like that.
We're doing speaking this time.
Right. Starting to get that idea. I don't know what idea you're getting, Pippinized, but it's probably right. He's probably talking about the coffee in the morning.
Right.
Speaking of, little plug for me. Not only should you guys go hit the like if you're following. Thank you very much. I see we got 5 people in the audience. If you go hit that like, that helps out a little bit. Helps the algorithm see my shit. Be sure you're subscribed and following the channel. And if you want good fucking coffee, hey, it's actually officially Renegade Butcher labeled now. I've got some in. I've got the logos.
Yeah.
It's good shit. I drank some of the rare blend this morning. Fucking go tear it up. I'll have to get some. I'll hook you up. I'll give you a discount.
Ooh. Yeah. Friends and family?
Yeah, right? So, yeah, go check that out. But, hey, let's talk about equipment when it comes to butchery. I know we've touched on the subject a couple of times. We've talked about knives a little bit. We've talked about minimal type stuff when it comes to breaking the animals down. But if you're somebody who's just kind of getting into this, maybe you're just starting to raise larger livestock, maybe a couple pigs or something like that, and you're going, I'd like to process my own at home and not rely on a shop. What things should they be thinking about for equipment to invest in? What's going to make their life easier? That, I mean, not everybody needs to go buy a bandsaw or buy a stand-up grinder or $500 worth of stainless steel table. But what things should they for sure have? What do you think?
Now, we just like, so when I think of this, when you say equipment, like I obviously think of like hand saws, stuff like that. But I also think of like, what are you going to need for the slaughter and all that?
And all around things that you should probably have on hand.
Yeah. I mean,
a firearm, be proficient with it for one thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start from the beginning, for me, it's like tractor, need it. You can do it with a winch and everything.
If you are doing something like medium-sized pigs and down, you can probably get by.
Get away with a camera.
Get away with it. If you're talking cattle, you need something that has an implement on it. You need a forklift. You need a bobcat. You need skid steer tractor, something, or a heavy hoist, something, a large engine hoist set up 10, 12 foot on a beam or something. You need a way to be able to lift that damn thing and to move it from wherever you kill it to where you're going to hang it and skin it. You've got to think about these things, and don't set up where you're going to skin it across the freaking homestead from where you're going to put it in a cooler.
Yeah, it's just going to be a recipe for disaster.
Try to think ahead and get your stuff together and make sure that it's going to be available. If you don't have a tractor, guess what? If you're out in the country and you're raising cows, I bet you got a neighbor or a friend pretty dang close that would let you borrow it for the afternoon. Maybe a case of beer. Who knows? They may want to come help just to see you sitting there skinning a cow looking like a monkey fucking a football. They'll probably just roll over and crack a couple of the old, more than likely not Bud Lights anymore, while they sit on that tractor and watch you skin a cow. You know?
Yeah, and I mean, I had that happen like a month ago. My tractor wouldn't start because it was like 14 degrees out. And
fuck that. I'm not doing anything if it's 14 degrees out.
Right. And I had to run over to my neighbors and go, hey, can you bring your bobcat over? And they ran right over because they're great. But it's like, to think about trying to do a cow without one at this point, it's impossible. I would never try it.
Yep.
Like,
Pippin Eyes says, come along or a ratchet or a winch over a thick tree branch to hoist up a coal. Yeah, it's doable. I've done it. I've even done an old rope over an old oak tree limb and, pulled it up with a frickin', what's going on over there? Pulled it up with a frickin' a truck. But it's definitely not ideal. You might get it done. Just know it's going to be, you're making it way harder on yourself already. And especially if you don't have a background in this, if you haven't done it much, if you haven't done a lot of deer, and I must stress, because everybody thinks this, I've done 40 deer in my life. A cow is going to be okay. It's a lot harder.
It's not.
Everything is bigger and heavier.
It's going to be a lot.
It is a lot. So don't make it harder on yourself from the get-go than you have to.
Right.
Can you get it done without a tractor? Absolutely. Should you attempt to do it, especially the first time without some sort of heavy equipment? I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
I really wouldn't recommend it. So,
like, I was just thinking about, like,
thanks for joining in over there. Appreciate you stopping in and watching.
Like, you and me could probably get that done, like a strap over an oak fairly quick and have it look decent. I would never suggest it for somebody who's never done it.
No. Now, don't get me wrong. The times that I've done it that way or done it with a freaking chain hoist up over a barn beam and drug in, because I asked if they had a tractor.
Oh, you told me this.
They have a tractor, but they didn't have a loader. So we drug it into the barn. We made it work. I mean, I came prepared knowing that that could happen. One day something's going to happen, or somebody's going to blow a hydraulic line, and we're going to have to figure this out now. So,
for sure.
Cheap insurance, it's a way to do it, but it sucks and it's hard. And guess what? I come from a background of literally having done this thousands of times with the right equipment. So I know where to cut corners when I have to.
Oh, absolutely. The other
make
thing
it harder on yourself to begin with, because you're just going to end up with meat in the dirt.
Yeah, the other thing you also just need to worry about is the safety aspect of it. If you got a medium-sized cow up on a tractor, which already isn't that safe, like I do it, and I am working as hard as I can to make it so I'm no longer doing that.
Right.
But it's like,
right.
That's safe in an aspect of like calculated risk. I know what I'm doing. I know how much I can be
Absolutely.
out and under it. But again, if you've never done it and you don't really think about how heavy that cow is,
and if you're not familiar with, especially if you're not familiar with a tractor or you've borrowed something like that,
exactly.
Ooh, it's not your own equipment, and yeah, for sure. It's always good to go ahead and cut yourself a couple of pieces of like post or whatnot that you can put underneath that loader and sit it down on. Just something as a little bit of a backup. And also, like, I'll hang them up. You use a spreader bar. I'll hang them up by some stainless steel hooks or whatnot from a chain. I've had chains slip before. Be very careful how you rig stuff up. I've had hooks break. I've had hooks break, literally snap, and beef hanging by one freaking leg while I was underneath of it skinning. And amazingly, I had the wherewithal. My old martial arts kicked in, and I tucked and rolled, but I had the wherewithal to toss the knife as I did it, so I didn't tuck it into me and roll.
Right.
But in that moment, you just, oh my God, I've got this beef coming down on me. You know, you just got to get the hell out of the way. Thankfully, it did not fall. We had to pull some crazy shit. We washed off a kid's a big like fold out swimming pool and laid it down in a clean place so we could re-rig it because there was no way. There was no way. You know, I was halfway down to the neck, so I just snuck in as gingerly as I could, finished skinning, and got the head off just to get as much weight off of there as I could.
Right.
And then we had to lay it back down and rig it back up, but it was sketchy as shit.
Oh,
and I was like, everybody, I had one guy running the tractor, and that's the other thing I would say, especially if you're doing something large.
Right. Have someone help run the tractor.
Have somebody else either help on the tractor, have somebody else who's going to be able to help you when you're moving those, especially if you're moving whole quarters. You're going to be breaking that thing down. Don't try and do it by yourself, especially if you've never hauled a freaking beef quarter by yourself by hand. No. Because you're going to drop it in the dirt. You're going to. I promise you will. Even with help, you might. Because it is not like carrying anything else. I don't care how much time you spent, how much iron you've pumped, lifting literal dead slippery weight that's shaped like meat, dude. It's a whole different ball game.
You could literally have gone to the gym and lifted exactly the same amount of that hindquarter at the same time. Like,
it's made in a shape that's ergonomic for you to lift.
That, and it's on the ground for sure. It's just the spine, because you got to think about it. The spine's going to move like a spine's going to move. Right. It doesn't matter if it's alive or dead.
I don't care if you've carried 200 pounds of feed bags at the same time. It's still not the same as something that is wet and slippery and greasy and has bones in it. And it's an odd shape and you can't move around it. And part of it's going to drag on the dirt because it's almost as tall as you. Have help. Have help. Set yourself up with the end in mind. Going, okay, today we're going to have to skin this and cut this, and it's going to have to go from here to there and make it a short trip and try to make sure you have a clean egress to where you're going.
I will say my new favorite carry on the hindquarters now is I'll come on the skin side. I'm like, that doesn't have a skin on it, and put my arm through the pelvis because it holds a little bit more of the pelvis weight on your arm. So you're not just like trying to heave-ho it around. You got a good anchor with a hook.
Yep.
Changed the game. And I literally figured that out like a week and a half ago.
That does work. That definitely works. I like to do the old apron guitar carry.
I haven't done that one.
Oh yeah. I'll come up if it's a hindquarter, and I'll get my hand up in behind the tendon. So my left hand. Then I get my thigh up because I've got the big apron on. Get my thigh up underneath of the short loin and I'll get my hand around it and I'll grab that last rib that I leave on the hindquarter.
Yeah.
Grab that. I just pull it up and I'll be walking along and it looks like I'm carrying the biggest
weird meat guitar I know exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then you go back in the cooler and it's like hang it back up on another hook and there it goes. So it works. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, it's awkward. It's awkward as can be. So you're doing most of that lifting initially.
And then to put it on something else is a whole nother thing. It's
well,
like,
but a hindquarter is way freaking easier than forequarters. They're a bitch. Forequarters
yeah,
are just hard. They're just difficult. So
yeah.
make it easy on yourself and have a second set of hands there to help you when you're doing this. We got a couple questions down here. Let me go ahead and hit that up. Jordan was mentioning, yeah, they got freezing temps coming this weekend. Perfect skinning weather. Yeah, it sucks. You must be, I forget where you're at, Jordan. You must be up north. I'm glad I'm not dealing with that, but it's good skinning weather. And then Haas pops down here. He says, what do you guys use for skinning? He's used the chain, hook, and bumper method. As far as the hanging it, yes. Or were you talking about peeling the hide with that? It's not really necessary.
Yeah.
I guys with do that with deer and stuff, and a good knife. But as far as hanging it, we prefer a tractor. Both of us prefer a tractor. I've done it before.
Yeah.
Get up over a tree, over a beam. It's the hard way. It is the hard way.
And like
what you got?
Like, I don't think
that's Arkansas. That's right.
On beef. But I've used it on deer.
Yeah, he's talking about pulling the hide. See, the thing is,
pulling the hide. I've done that. I've done the golf ball trick. I've just pulled it myself. Like I have in the shop, I have a hook bolted into the concrete that I'll put it in the cradle first, skin around the back hams, and then just take a chain, wrap it around. I'll keep the back feet on. And
see, for me, beef hide is so loose and it weighs so much that once you get it up in the air, its own weight almost peels up. I just hit it with a knife. I've tried all the different little fun ways like that before. Yeah. I just don't ever feel like it saves me time. You know, now, granted, I'm pretty handy with a knife. I've skinned a lot, so I'm pretty damn quick. Right. But I don't feel like the effort that I put into it.
No, it's a cool thing. Like it's a cool thing to do for sure. Like it's a fun video, or that's a fun thing.
When I used to work the kill floor a lot, and we'd have just the straight freaking hoist. One of the things I would do occasionally was you'd have the hide about halfway down, so I would cut a boot hole.
Yeah.
And just stick my foot up in there and just stand up, or I just stand on it and just run the hoist up, and use my own weight kind of to anchor it, Yeah. And then sometimes that's just fun because hey, it's a 6th cow today. Let me play around with it.
Especially in that setting, it turns less into like things people will listen to on a podcast and more about just your job. So then it just turns into the random stuff that you do at your job every day to make the day go by and laugh. Like
you just experiment and try
cows a day. Like
pigs take pigs are just a pain in the ass to skin. They really are.
We talked about that in the last one, or one of the last
absolutely.
ones.
And you can do a little bit of peeling as far as like what you're talking about on a pig, but you want to make sure you pretty much have to skin it all the way back to it's just the loins. That's about the only place you're really going to be able to get that peel. You're going to just mutilate the bellies if you try to do that.
Oh, it's going to be awful. Yeah.
So, and I've even tried it before having it all the way back to the loins and still started pulling fat off and just quit because I don't want naked pork chops. I like a little fat on my meat. I don't want to waste that.
It's got to be right at the end, right at the beginning of that sirloin. You have to go about an inch past that.
And if you're not careful and you gouge the fat a little too much on a knife stroke or whatnot, it's just going to peel right off with it there too.
I make sure that the knife, I will gouge it slightly going towards the skin.
Right, but I mean, if you
gouge
into the back fat,
you're tearing that whole fat off.
No, you're just going to peel that fat all off on the hide. It's gonna wreck it. So, but there's just no way around it. Pigs are. Yeah. They're a lot more work.
Pigs are a pain in the ass.
It's more work to skin a 300-pound pig than it is to skin a freaking 1,200-pound steer.
Oh, absolutely.
But the rest of it goes easy. So it is what it is. And you know what? I'll take skinning the damn pig over scalding and scraping. we covered that too.
Not doing it.
But the only way to get better at it is just practice and time. Like I said, the best tip I can give you when it comes to pigs is when you start to work along the length of the body with your knife strokes, open them up like a book. Don't try to do the ring around the rosies bullshit. You're gonna tear it all up.
Exactly.
Start from the middle, take your time, flat of the knife, pull that hide tight and work it. It's close to that skin as you can, around the belly, long strokes up and down. If you have it hanging vertical, if you're laying in a cradle, obviously it's horizontal. Peel it open, and then the rest. I mean, once you get around the sides,
It's pretty
Oh,
easy.
it's all pretty much the same,
Yeah.
you know. Yep.
And just take your time.
Yeah.
On every aspect of this. Take your time.
Yep.
Like, yes, if it's 106, maybe hurry a little bit, but you're already in a bad situation.
You want to move with a little bit of a sense of urgency, but don't feel like you have to just rush. Don't put yourself in a situation where you have to rush through it that quick either. I know a lot of guys that they go, okay, well, we're going to jump right in. I got 3 hogs to do. And they go and they pop 3 hogs. Now they got to skin 3 hogs. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just do one at a time. Do one at a time. You know, until I'll shoot 3 hogs and then skin them, but I'm going to have 3 hogs in a cooler in an hour. Because I've done it, I don't know how many thousands of times. Don't do that to yourself. Don't put that pressure on yourself.
God, no.
I mean, one day maybe, but
but you just
don't make it hard.
Well,
that's the same with the tractor. It's like, don't make it harder on yourself when you're learning this than you have to.
No, make it as easy as possible.
Yeah. That's why I I had Tiffany on a couple weeks ago, and she was the hot cutting and everything, and that's a great option for a lot of people because for some people it's really the only option. But I never recommend for people who are trying to learn butchery to start out that way if they can avoid it, because you're never really going to truly learn how to do it right, for one, and you have to rush through the whole process. You have to. There's no getting around it, because you've got to finish this whole animal now.
Yeah.
And man, that's a big task for somebody who does know what they're doing.
Yeah, I've never the meat. Anything. I could do it, but I wouldn't want to.
Sucks. And cutting warm meat sucks. But
I can imagine.
It's frustrating as a butcher too, because you know what it should look like, and you can't make it look like this because warm meat doesn't cut the same way. But the other thing is, if you have that animal chilled, you have the luxury of learning as you go and taking at a piece at a time.
Absolutely.
And working on it. You can take your time. You don't have a way to take your time the other way around. Sun's going to just bleed me right out here, but that's okay.
Of course it is.
All right. As far as other equipment goes, so we've covered a lot about equipment in the past. If anybody has any questions specifically on things when it comes to do slaughter and skinning, we're definitely circle back to that more in the comments, but we've talked a lot about that. One other time I've had you on the show, and we've talked a little bit about like basic stuff for processing type stuff, but what would you say would be the things that are like must-haves? Like, you should definitely have this.
Lugs.
Process. That's a good one. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't even think about that.
Folks that don't know, I've only ever heard them called lugs in the meat industry. Think of they're meat tubs. They're processing tubs. Think of like bus boxes if you ever worked at a restaurant.
They hold right around. If you pack them, they can hold like 80 pounds of grind, but I usually put them to about 50. And they work great. I know Josh, I think, has an affiliate link. He's frozen, so we'll see what happens when he comes back. But Waltons.com is another good one. You can probably pick them up on Amazon. They're not crazy expensive, and for what you can do with them, they're fantastic. One, all your grind can go in it. If you're breaking it down into smaller primals after the slaughter, you can carry them all in that instead of just carrying warm meat somewhere. Even if during the slaughter, you need, like, all of a sudden something moves and you can't pull up any further, you can stick that lug right under the neck or whatever you're going under, and it gives it a place where it's not just sitting in the dirt. Well, he'll be back. We'll see. But they're great, and I think the last time I bought them, they were like $20. And they're worth their weight in gold.
They got me.
He's back.
It was the USCA cyber division. They're shutting me down. No, I think we just had an internet blip or something here. I'm sure I'll have to figure it out. But I had the backup ready, so here we are. But the lugs as far as the meat tubs.
Yeah, I just gave him a little rundown on them.
Yeah, you can. So where do you get yours?
I get mine from Waltons.
Okay, because they're expensive.
Last time I bought them, they're like $20, I think.
Yeah. Here's my tip for y'all. And no, holy shit, that's a big chicken. Anyway, I am not I am not like an affiliate of them at all or whatnot. But if you have an Academy Sports nearby, especially coming up on deer season, they have they're a little bit smaller.
Yeah,
the ones that you're getting are nicer, but the little smaller ones, Um, they'll hold about 40
All right.
comfortably.
I've
But
got like
they're
two or-
flat
I've got
bottom.
like
They're
two or
not the
three
one.
of
They
them
don't have the ridges,
that-
the cross stack ridges. And they're
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
They're a little bit thinner. You can crack them and stuff like that. But I stock up on them every deer season. You see them right around the time because they're marketed for wild game. But here's the kicker: you'll get this. Oh, he's digging.
I'm back. Dog's in. Oh, is he gone again? Are we just playing back and forth with this? Well, now we're just sitting here on bated breath on what he was going to say. Yeah. And again, put the money into how much you're going to do it. If you are just going to do like a deer a year, you're going to do like 1 or 2 pigs, like you don't need to go out and buy the craziest, like most expensive stuff. Like if the majority of the time it's going to sit in a closet somewhere.
They really are out to get me. And wow, I'm on here twice. Here we go. Let me remove myself maybe. Anyway, crazy. All right. Yeah. So no, anyway, the ones that I get at Academy Sports, $7, dude. $7 a piece.
Jesus. Yeah, we don't have those.
Yeah, right. You know how many I can buy 3 of them for the price of one of the other big lugs. So yeah. But a clean container to be actually put your shit in, especially if you're breaking that down beyond a quarter.
Yeah. I mean, I know people that use Tupperware like the Rubbermaid totes. Like again, if you're doing it once a year,
oh yeah,
just buy those.
Buy something that's clean, preferably food grade, but something clean. Another really good, now not as easy to work out of, especially when you're cutting on the table and for trim and stuff like that. But food grade 5-gallon buckets.
Oh yeah,
great for storing.
I've used those
all the time. During deer season, it's great, especially when I have a bunch of different orders to keep track of. So I can load up one person's in a bucket, throw it, and I can stack them up.
Yeah,
helps a ton. Helps a ton. And a really good place to look for those, if you bakeries, donut shops. If there's barbecue places around, you can get pickle ones, usually pretty dang cheap. Some people have good luck with like the bakery at Walmart. Just know you're gonna have to clean them out, but you can find good food grade ones for pretty cheap there. Or you can turn around and order them for about $10 a piece on Amazon.
Yeah,
if you really want the brand new.
I brine all my bellies and stuff in those. Like,
oh yeah, yep, absolutely.
Tripods, I've found out. Oh, there he goes again. Well, let's see. Another good thing. We've already kind of touched on tables. I mean, again, don't go out and buy a giant stainless steel table and spend a bunch of money if you're only, again, going to do this once or twice a year.
Well, that's just ridiculous. I don't know what's going on now. We got major internet malfunctions here or something, but yeah. Oh, Haas down here mentions he's used a clean trash can. Yeah, I mean, as long as you know what was in it and it's clean enough. I mean, that's the thing. If you're talking about for your own personal consumption, you be the judge of what you want to eat. But
that gets scary sometimes, though.
It does. I'm going to avoid the trash can myself.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Another thing that I think is super handy and we kind of take for granted, trays. Trays to put cuts on. Man, I tell you what, you probably use the big, like, square sheet pans, right? Most shops do. Yes. Yeah. Those are expensive, dude.
I got these super cheap.
You got basically a.
But no, those are insanely expensive.
Right. You got basically a preset shop already, pretty much gifted to you. Lucky bastard.
Can't all be that lucky.
Right. Yeah, those. But what I found, I actually got really lucky on the trays that I used. They're about half that size. But I looked around on Facebook Marketplace when I was kind of getting going, and I wanted something a little smaller anyway that's more portable. Because I was taking a lot of stuff on the road with me.
Yeah, there it goes again. Again, for stuff like that, if you're in a pinch and you need something, you could, again, use some of those Rubbermaid container tray or lids if you're trying to do like a bunch of stuff. But even the disposable tinfoil, like, trays you can get at the grocery store or Walmart or something like that. If you're just needed something to put something in between cutting and packaging, anything will work. But again, keep it somewhat clean because again, it's your food. Yeah, I've used the turkey trays before.
Man, I'm glad you're on this show to talk when this shit goes on. All right, y'all, make sure you go hit the like button. Help me pay for this internet bill because I just said screw it. I'm tethering to the phone, so I'm just paying for the data now because this Wi-Fi ain't gonna work. It just ain't working tonight. It must be all the college kids getting on their fucking video game servers or some shit at the same time. I don't know, but all of a sudden it just went gone. So, but well, yeah,
I'm finally not just sitting here awkwardly looking at the camera going, I don't know how technology works.
I don't know how to do this. It's so much easier on the computer when you're using StreamYard than trying to do it on the phone. You can actually see the layout of stuff.
No, I'll definitely. I'm like I said, I'm still on the phone right now, but I'll definitely be doing it on the computer.
Oh yeah, it makes it a whole lot easier. Oh, you're just in the little cradle,
like a better mic or something because the computer speaker sucks or microphone sucks.
Oh, okay. Go to just go to like Walmart or wherever and get yourself either a podcasting mic is nice. That's what I've got set up right now. And it's got like a monitor in the background. I've just got an earbud. So I'm listening through that. Or I hate them because if I'm wearing them long enough, it really starts to bug me. But you can get like a cheap, like $20 plug it, like gaming headset with the mic. The audio is pretty good on it. It's good enough for this kind of stuff with no problem. Yeah, that's what I do. You don't have to get anything too fancy, especially starting out. The microphone I'm using right now, I think, ran me like $40.
Yeah.
So, but I do it enough. It was worth that.
Right. Oh, there he goes again. All right. So we did lugs, trays, both important. A good saw you can use. Again, you can go to any of these sites that sell like commercial meat equipment, or you can go to Cabela's. They have bone saws and stuff like that there.
So welcome to the Josh Can't Stay on His Own podcast show. Apparently. It's great. But I was mentioning the trays.
Oh yeah.
So I went to Facebook Marketplace. I found a bunch of old school lunch trays.
Oh, that's perfect.
I know. And somebody was restaurant apparently. They had a big restaurant auction. A lady went and bought a bunch of restaurant equipment and left her trailer there. Nobody bought the trays. She left her trailer there to get loaded up with all the stuff that she bought. And they just loaded a bunch of them into everybody's trailer. Like they just gave them away. So she had like 300 of them and she was selling them for $1.50 a piece.
Oh,
I know. So I bought like fucking $40 worth.
Oh my God.
Because they're super handy.
I would have driven distance for that.
No shit. No shit.
Yes.
So it was so worth it. It was one of the best scores I found on stuff like that. You were mentioning the hand saws. Honestly, I do everything in the world I can to avoid using them, but they are handy to have. Like you said, you can go to Cabela's, go to Academy Sports, go to just a regular sporting goods store and get something. If you get the ones that it's like the LEM brand, that's pretty much one of the most common. They're decent.
Yeah.
I have one. What I will say is I've never seen them anywhere but their website. Go to LEM's website and order. They've got the blades. They typically come like little 1/2-inch blades. They've got the 1-inch blades.
Get the big ones.
They're way better because that blade flexes and wobbles and gets weak so quick. They're awful.
As I say that, I haven't used a handsaw I can't think about the last time I used it. I've switched to using a cordless Sawzall. That's been the one that's works best for me. I buy the Diablo pruning blades. Again, I'm not using it for finish cuts. So you don't because the Diablo pruning blade is pretty aggressive. Cuts through bone like magic. But there he is.
Yeah. I don't even know anymore. I'm just gonna roll with it. If I pop off,
practice.
If I pop off, we're just gonna have to. It'll be the routine for the night, I guess. So we'll see. Should be interesting. This could be fun on the audio side, but hey, you know.
I was just saying I don't remember the actual time I've actually used my handsaw. I've switched to just using my Sawzall.
Right. Once I learned how to do most things with a knife and minimize what
Yeah.
I do, but as far as
Well,
with the
it's like
saw,
when I think
helps.
about it, I'm thinking about like because I only use it for honestly at this point because I just want to save my bandsaw.
Yeah.
I save my bandsaw blades. The only time I use the Sawzall is to pull the chuck off the 4/4
Yep.
and to chine and pull the short ribs off the rib plate. That's the only time
I
I actually use a saw.
the only time that I actually do use the saw quite a bit more if I am doing stuff mobile and helping people out because I
Right.
don't have the bandsaw with me. And I'll
Right.
tell you what, you can do a lot of bone-in cuts with a recip saw, but there's a learning curve and it's hard to do.
Oh yeah.
What I recommend the shit out of this for people. Get one of the single hand reciprocating saws.
Yeah.
There's a Lennox brand.
Oh, and he's gone again. I absolutely agree. I have a Milwaukee just regular Sawzall, and it works fantastic. But there are moments where I'm like, God, this is a pain in the butt when you're trying to hold on to a quarter and trying to saw at the same time. That single hand saw is a game changer.
The rigid that I have is awesome. It's got a battery pack, so it's cordless, man. It's great, and actually, in one of the big 4-amp batteries, I can actually split a steer with the single hand. It's a 6-amp reciprocating saw.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I always keep an extra battery around, but last year I sent you all pictures. I posted them up there. There was help with the steer. I split that all with the single hand. So
that's awesome.
Good set of blades. I had a Diablo blade in that one. I actually like the Lennox blades better. But there's also, I forget, you can get the plug-in ones if you want to dick with the cord and everything. But using one of those single-hand reciprocating saws, it's a little bit bigger and bulkier. It's got more ass to it, but it's a lot like using an electric fillet knife if you ever used one. It's balanced in the hand, you know. So
nice.
if I'm cutting T-bones, great. Well, I've got the short loin laid out. I score the meat and do all my knife cuts, and then I'm just cutting bone. That's the important thing. You're gonna that blade will tear the shit out of any meat it touches, you know. That's just part of it, you know. That's why a bandsaw is nice because the teeth are only moving one direction.
Right.
You've got that reciprocating saw action when you're doing it this way. So, but hey, it's your meat. If you're okay with an ugly steak, great. I have a certain expectation of quality when I'm doing it for somebody else, and I'm OCD about it because it's my job.
Yeah. I would also say if this is your first time or you're very new at it, go boneless cuts.
Yes,
unless you're on
unless
you're on like the rib, like you can cut in between the ribs, but don't go into it with a Sawzall and a boning knife on the short loin and expect like perfect grocery store porterhouses because it's not going to happen. Like you're just not going to get there.
Absolutely. No. And I try to always encourage people to go boneless whenever I can.
And again, that really just depends on your capabilities. Like, again, if you don't care if there's a little wear and tear into your steaks, go for it. But your life is going to be so much easier if, like, especially on the short loin, I wouldn't suggest trying to do bone-in cuts unless you have a bandsaw on hand. But again, like you could cut in between the ribs on your ribeyes and stuff like that. You're going to end up with a much better product that you're going to be more happy. Like you're going to be happier with boning out a lot of stuff if you don't have a bandsaw handy to do a lot of this stuff. It's just the name of the game.
I'm actually starting to wonder if it's my computer. Let me shut some shit off in the background here just in case. But yeah, anyway, it's just been like absolutely ridiculous today. But hey, we'll make it work.
It wasn't doing this during Lightning of Liberty.
No, it wasn't. It's got to be a network thing. But I've even tethered to my phone. Who knows? Maybe the cell phone network's just that tied up right now. Is there something going on a Tuesday night? I think it's like quarter beer night at the bar. I don't think everybody's on the internet.
No. And if they are, it's really boring quarter. If it is, bars have changed a lot since I've been sober.
Right. Well, I'm in a college town, so who knows? Yeah, it's these kids these days. They're all sitting here texting each other while they sit at the bar. You know,
it's pretty fire.
It's great. Oh shit. I Another thing that we ought to touch on, though, for sure, that maybe people don't think of until it's kind of too late, and it's not totally necessary.
There he goes. Just leave this on a cliffhanger again. I don't even know where to branch off of this one because he left me with nothing. We already kind of went through knives. I showed a bunch of stuff one of the last times I was on. You just want a good breaking knife. All right, here we go.
I can say motherfucker, fuck motherfucker on my own show, so I'm going to. Anyway.
I know. I was like, I don't even know where
exactly,
to branch
Lisa.
off of this.
Exactly. It's a fun live with Kyle and random moments of Josh that's popping and disappearing.
It's a good time.
You never know how long is Josh going to stay on his own show.
How am I doing, guys? Tell me, please.
Right. And hey, he made it. Eric Lee. It's free beer at the house day. Eric is awesome. Eric is my buddy over by where Float Fest was, over by Goss, Texas.
Oh, nice.
He is a cutter over at Brookshire Brothers, but he also raises sheep and cattle and chickens, and he's got a plucker, and if somebody needs some chickens plucked, he is offering some services over that way. So give him a holler or let me know. I'll get you hooked up. He's also probably going to be offering some Renegade Butcher seasonings along with some chickens before too long here. So we've been talking about that a little bit. Yeah, exactly. The gremlins are getting me tonight. Like I said, it's that USDA's cyber wing is out to get me, apparently. We're just going to go with that. Hey, before I drop off again, grinder. Get yourself a good meat grinder if you can.
Yes.
And
I thought you were telling me to join the app, and I'm like, that's not.
No, well, you probably are already on there.
I'm not.
You got a family discount, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God. Anyway, so my opinion on a grinder though is get the biggest grinder that you can afford, and it's probably going to cost you a lot more money than you expect it to, but you're gonna hate life if you buy a tiny dinky grinder. Everybody wants to cheap out on it, unless you're just doing a deer or two a year, maybe a sheep, one pig every once in a while. I mean, get yourself something that's at least a half horsepower, preferably 1 horsepower.
I don't even care if you're doing that. Buy the best grinder you can.
Absolutely. Buy the best grinder you can, and then rent it out to your buddies.
Absolutely. This whole time we've been kind of saying, like, you don't need to go all out. Like, kind of get what you can afford and work from there. Coming from experience, I will tell you, spend as much as you humanly possibly can on your grinder, because at the end of the day, that is the biggest workhorse out of all of it besides you. Like, you can cut your steaks and do whatever you want. If you want burger, you need to put it through that grinder. And more times than not, you end up with more grind than you do actually cuts.
Absolutely. And if you get a shitty, cheap little grinder, you're just going to hate life. It's going to take so long, and you're going to end up cooking half the damn meat by the time you're done.
Right. And I was just saying the whole time how we've been like, you don't need to go crazy and buy the fanciest stuff in the world. But this is the one thing of like, buy it. Yeah. Buy the right thing.
Yeah. LEM. I use an LEM quite a bit. I originally bought an LEM size 12 head, and it works. But I'll tell you what, it's hard getting through a beef with it. It's really hard. I'm currently using an LEM size 32, which is a 1.5 horsepower. I think it's a 1.5 horsepower motor. And that's like $1,000 grinder, but it's a beast. I've been through four deer seasons with it, and quite a few beef. I mean, I don't even know how many beef I've put through there. A lot of pork. It's a good grinder. But it's nothing like a stand-up grinder mixer. It's nothing like what Kyle's using. Yeah. That's a whole different animal. But for a tabletop grinder, I used to recommend the Cabela's.
Right. But now they changed. We've talked about this before, and I know he talked about it with Tiffany when she was on, that the Cabela's grinders used to be fantastic. I knew a bunch of people with them, and they were awesome. But when Bass Pro Shop bought Cabela's, they actually changed manufacturers and didn't really say anything. So the quality on those grinders is no longer good.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't suggest
manufacturers on the Cabela's. They used to be great a couple years ago. There's some friends of mine that have a size 22 head, a little bit smaller, and I tried to kill it. Can't. But other friends, Tiffany, who was on, she got a big freaking like 2 horsepower grinder. God damn. No, it was a shit show. I mean, there was like 2 weeks of her trying to like figure this grinder out, where she'd be calling me up in the middle of the day. What do I do with this damn thing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm sitting here on my phone going through manuals trying to help her out.
Right.
And I get it. It's frustrating. You're on a job. You're trying to get this done. You can't leave
yeah.
till it's done and your grinder doesn't work.
Oh,
Nothing is more frustrating than being in that situation. And I mean, at home, you've got the luxury of figuring it out, but you're still going to hate life. And if you're going to spend good money on a grinder, even a small grinder is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So buy the best one that you can. Like I said, rent it out to friends and family or other homesteaders the rest of the time. You can make that money back. If you spend a grand on a grinder, you can make that back. You just may have to get a little ingenious about it. So,
right.
Let's see here. Yeah, Lisa, I need to adjust my tinfoil hat. Well, I left my tinfoil hat at home, Lisa. That's my problem. I wish if I had my tinfoil hat, I'd probably be okay. I don't know. I just think something must be going on with the local internet tonight. It's just being flaky. So it just keeps resetting every once in a while. It is what it is. We'll deal with it. So what? No, wait, we've almost made it into an hour. I've been on the show for at least 20 minutes of that. So what else do we think here, Kyle?
We already touched on knives. I don't think we need to.
We did. We kind of covered knives quite a bit the other week, and that's a big. It depends. So we can always.
Do we want to talk about paper or cryovac? That whole debate. So I guess we're doing that. If you're just getting into this first time, again, doing a deer a year, a lamb, a pig, maybe two, freezer paper is a really cheap and good option. I know we touched on it on one of the last videos we did about just, you got to make sure you wrap it right to keep everything good.
That's what she said.
Burn. Hey.
Gotta wrap it right. No, definitely some kind of packaging equipment, and decide if you want to do paper or if you want to do vacuum seal. I think vacuum seal is easier for people who have never paper wrapped to begin with anyway. And vacuum sealers don't have to be super expensive. You don't have to get a chamber vac right off the bat.
You can pick up the bar ones at, again, Cabela's or Bass.
So, no, let me know if you're looking to get a cheap vacuum sealer. I'll send you an Amazon link. Me and Brian reviewed one back during deer season. There was a stupid what's that not Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal on just cheapos. And I was like, I was wearing one out and I knew it was about time. So I was like, you know what? I got a deal for like freaking $30. I was like, fuck it, I'll order one for now. If it sucks, it's a $30 vacuum sealer that sucks. I got it and it was working better than the one that I had that was like a $120 vacuum sealer.
Nice.
Oh, shit. So I just kind of kept using it. And then I mentioned it because I was like, this thing's pretty cool. And Brian goes, why don't you do a review on that? Since you got the Amazon affiliate thing, you may as well post it up. And I was like, that's a good idea. He came over, even did a little review on it because he was using the hell out of it. Well, it popped up. It went down in price for a while, down like 20.
This is getting funny now. You can start off with one of those and they're fantastic. They work great. They sell the bags that are already pre-done. They sell the rolls of bags. Those are nice because you can adjust the size of the packaging.
Yeah, they are. Well, those things went on sale for like $20
nice.
At one point. So I ordered like 5. So I figure, what if I burn them up? Whatever,
Right.
It actually turned into a joke. Whereas I've got one still at the house. Brian dared me to vacuum seal a vacuum sealer. I've still got that one vacuum sealed in a vacuum seal bag, so it's weatherproof, sitting there in the shop. I had another one I broke out because sometimes I was running duels side by side, just back and forth. I tried to give Brian one, just say, hey, you should keep one in the RV with you in case you need it. They'd want to have more shit with them. But I still haven't managed to burn up the other one. It's gone through a full fucking deer season, and I haven't killed it yet. It's still going strong. So I'm like, I don't know what these things are made of, but these cheap little Chinese vacuum sealers, and it's a beast. So
I love mine. I actually, for what I have, because I bought a VacMaster 210. I think that's the one I have.
Oh yeah, chamber vacs are awesome.
It's amazing. And
they are great. They are great. They're big, heavy, and expensive.
Oh yeah.
If you're doing a lot of it, or if you're doing a lot of sous vide type stuff, or a lot of other packaging, it's totally worth it. If you're doing it for home, I think everybody should have a chamber vac if they can. I just have
Right.
I do so much moving around the hall and
Yeah,
shit. I'm not hauling a
it would
Backmaster
make
with me.
sense. It would make
Fuck
sense.
that.
But if you do want to invest and like get something nice, that's really nice because it's
That's the way to
technically
go.
maintenance
And it
free.
saves you in the long run on bags because the text, you have to have the bags with the one side textured with the ones that have the bar sealer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not a lot of savings, but if you're doing a lot of packaging over time, you do save money on it.
And the backpacks, they're expensive, but they're not crazy expensive when you think about it. Like,
no,
how much they cost. Like, it's not awful, but I also buy them in bulk. So I'm like, every time I see that bill, I'm like, like, but
it's,
and I'll even say the one I have is it's on the smaller side. It's a 12-inch bar. And going back with my style, like my upkeep and production, I would absolutely have bought one double the size just because on an 8x10 package, I'm only putting one in. And when you're doing one cow or a whole cow, that gets aggressive. I got a rhythm, but that one, the 210, is their maintenance free. So the majority of vacuum or chamber sealers have an air pump in it. They got to change the oil in. This one does not have an oil in the pump. It's completely maintenance free. I've had to go in though, just because I was running it on the wrong settings. I had to go in and clean out the solenoids that turn like I've had to do that, but it was super quick and easy. I was on the phone with the guy for 20 minutes and he talked me through it. And
there is a little bit of maintenance when it comes to the chamber vacs for sure. And yeah, like you said, depending on the type you get, you may have one that does need oil in the pump. So
but
that's something to be aware of. But
I got that in end of last year. I've probably put 20 cows through it. I don't know how many I don't know how many deer. And the thing's just a champ.
And you will wear out the heat tape and everything over time. So you can get that stuff for cheap and replace it. It's
exactly
it's an expendable part. It's part of it.
A lot.
It is, and they are worth it. I like it overall. In the end, better than the paper, but I get why some people go with the paper. It's just that's another skill. That's another thing you're gonna have to learn for sure. And it's not any cheaper. It really isn't. Those rolls of paper, they're pricey.
No, in the end, it's not. And even just in time, it's not.
No, I mean, I would say if you're just doing a little bit at home, I wouldn't recommend it for a full beef. But if you're just doing a little bit at home, Ziploc bags are just fine too.
Oh yeah,
so
I've done it.
Yeah, sometimes it's what you got to do.
Whatever.
Do the best you can to get all the air out of that stuff, and it is what it is. But a vacuum sealer, especially a little tabletop vacuum sealer, don't go and buy and spend $200 on a food saver, please. You can get a better vacuum sealer for less. They're not that expensive, and they're worth it.
I've never had luck with Food Saver. I had a couple, and they've all died on
the Food Saver style ones. There's some decent ones that I've used. I was surprised this little cheapo's done well for me. Yeah. But the actual every Food Saver brand that I've ever seen anybody use burns out really quick. I'll even have folks that are like, "Oh, I'm breaking out my vacuum. I've got my own vacuum sealer. You don't have to even bring one." Okay, I'm bringing my vacuum sealer because halfway through, halfway through, their shit's burning up or getting frustrated, or it's get the little flashy lights because it's overheated and they can't use it. So it is what it is. Lisa says she's got a question. If money is not an issue, where would you move your business if you could change locations? Ooh, that's a good one right there. I'd say in Texas, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on that's a pain in the ass. If money wasn't an issue, I would be set up with a custom exempt license and a full moving crap with the state. That's the thing. Money is the issue with that. But I love where I'm at, and I love that I have a huge market of people that need me here. And I hate the cold.
Yeah.
But
no, I get it. I wouldn't move either. I'd still be right here. I'm a glutton for punishment.
Right.
So,
as far as like where in the state here, I don't know. I'm in a pretty good spot. I'm rural, and I'm fairly centralized. I'm in ranching territory, but I'm not far from Houston.
Yeah. Now, if money wasn't an issue at all, what I would love to do is rig up a mobile slaughter rig, like take an old school bus and turn it into a part cooler, part camper, and take a drive down and visit Josh down in Texas and just load up on hogs and whatever else and just head home and fill my freezer with it. That would be amazing. I would love that. But in my area, I grew up here my whole life. We've got my kids and everything here, and we've got a pretty good setup, and I don't really think I'd be moving anywhere outside of there. But again, I'd be visiting Texas so much more. Absolutely. I did see Haas asked about gloves. Gloves, I just go down to the local auto parts store, and I moved on to a different question.
It's like a magic trick.
I know.
Yeah.
Haas over here asked about where we get gloves.
Yep.
I just go down. We've got an O'Reilly's right in town, and that's where I buy all my gloves. The powder-free, just regular work gloves.
I quit wearing gloves unless I cut myself. If I cut myself just for food safety, I'll put some gloves on or whatnot. When I started out, it was the culture of the place I worked in. Right. It was always everybody had the gloves, and they had the cotton gloves, and they had the Mylar gloves.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always, you're going to cut yourself, so you got to wear a cut glove. You had to wear a cut resistant glove. So that's how I learned how to cut. So eventually I graduated away from, I would still wear the cut glove off and on, especially if I was doing something kind of sketchy or I was a little bit worried, but I got used to just not wearing it, and I got better. Did I cut myself a couple times? Sure. Guess what? You can still stick yourself through those. You can still,
absolutely.
Yeah. And then you're actually going to do that more than cut yourself.
Yeah.
What I found though, is I learned how to better not cut myself.
Right.
When, now granted, I get why people want to wear the gloves and everything. One thing to be cautious about though is your hands can feel, and your hands are also washable. You should have your hands clean. You should clean your hands all the time, especially when you're handling meat. You should wash them. You should keep your nails trimmed. You should keep clean hands. If I have dirt on my hand, I can feel dirt on my hand. If I have dirt on my glove, I only know if it's there if I look at it. When I'm sitting there skinning that cow and I reach around and it rubs around on that hide and I've got shit on it and I touch that meat without looking at my hand, I got to trim that now.
Yeah.
If I touch shit on my bare hand, I feel it. If I feel nasty shit, and I know I need to stop and wash my hands. Do I always know I need to stop and wash my glove off? No. So for me, I feel like I'm actually cleaner when I avoid wearing the gloves. I will put it on if I'm bleeding for some reason though.
So I don't wear them during the slaughter. I go full bare hand during the slaughter, but I do wear them during the cut. So what I do is I just bought like a cheap pair of like the mechanic work gloves, like the whatever cotton material they are. They're not going to stop you from stabbing yourself. I know from personal experience.
The other thing, especially
if you get cold,
especially if you do deer, if you're doing a lot of deer, and down here a lot of it's ice chest.
Yeah,
they'll get wet. Your hands will just be wrecked all day long.
All day long.
Best trick that I know as far as that goes: wear one of the Mylar gloves on the inside of a cotton glove if you're wearing a cotton glove.
Yeah,
and then wear on the outside too. Keep that glove dry. But I would avoid just wearing them to begin with unless you have to, especially when you're learning. Be careful, learn not to cut yourself. It helps a lot. But if you do want to wear gloves, if you want to get cheap gloves, Harbor Freight is a great place to get cheap gloves. If you're okay with them tearing constantly. There's when I usually keep a few around. I'll order a box because I rarely go through them. I'll order a box on Amazon of there's thick. It's like I want to say 8 or 10 mil puncture resistant Mylar gloves, and they're great. They're the same ones that the police buy for when they're doing searches because they're actually needle resistant. So I would wear those underneath of a Kevlar glove when I was worried about the cut glove, because when I did stick myself through, the glove has enough stretch, it would actually prevent the puncture.
Right.
So
I like it just for cleanliness reasons.
Yeah.
That's the reason I like it. For the same reason where you're like, oh, you can wash your hand. Like you can feel your hands, you can wash them. Yep. You can also, if I need to stop what I'm doing real quick, I'm not covered in blood from cutting, and I can just go, done. Okay.
And I'm also way more likely to wear a glove on one hand and not a glove in my knife hand.
Yeah.
If I'm doing something like that too, if I'm actually just cutting, if I'm not actually in the skinning process,
Right.
but it's personal preference. There's nothing wrong with wearing the gloves, but just be aware of that in your head, that you've always got to constantly be checking your hands,
Right.
because you
For sure.
won't feel if
you
they
got to be
hurt
clean
you.
the whole
Well,
time.
right. And there's nothing worse than getting something on your hand and then touching meat, and then now you've got to clean it up. You can't just wash it off. You know, you can try,
and it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And now you've got wet, soggy meat that's got whatever crap in it embedded in the meat. And you'll learn.
Right.
You'll learn.
Oh, yeah. You sure will.
Here, Gary here says, do you guys sharpen your own knives or send them out? If you do sharpen them, what do you suggest for a beginner to begin sharpening their own knives? I get this question quite a bit, and I'm on all about the stone. You know, I know you're. Do you like doing the belt sharpening?
I've done it. I'm not a fan.
I have a little work sharp, and I'll use it occasionally if a knife gets bad, but it's a great way to burn up a blade.
At the USDA shop that I work at, the owner it wasn't a belt. It was more of like just a disc. Like it was.
Yep, I've used those too.
Yeah, it was almost like a jeweler's one though. Like it was for that, and that worked really well when
I call it the ice pick maker.
Yeah, well, yeah. When I wasn't buying knives, it was great because he'd pop his head in to the three of us cutting and go, "Anyone need their knife sharp?" And we'd all turn like double fisting knives, like here.
And you lose an 1/8 inch of blade every time you ran it through that damn thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. I had him do my personal knife a couple times, and it's like half the size. Yep. I told my buddy who made it for me, I'm like, I need to bring it down when you get the belt sander out because I need to lower the profile because it got sharpened down so far.
You lost the bevel. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I use I say a good tri-stone system.
Oh, it's the best.
Is the way to go, and learn how to understand the angle, because that's the thing. It's usually a 20-degree or steeper angle is what you're going to want to use, and you got to go by feel. It's a skill all in itself, learning how to sharpen a knife. But I think the thing that everybody overlooks, learn how to hone a knife, get a good honing steel. Learn how to do that, because that's maintaining the edge that's already there. 90% of the time when you think your knife is dull, it ain't.
Hone it.
It's just, it needs honed. It's which, if you don't know, honing a knife is where you'll see chefs and butchers, they have that steel, and they're not just making tinky noises. There's a reason that they do that. So think of the edge of the knife as a very, very thin piece of metal. They actually call it a wire edge.
Yeah.
And as you're working with that is such a thin, malleable little piece of metal that it can deform and fold to one side or the other. Right. So when you're using that honing steel, what you're doing is you're straightening that back out. Two things. First of all, you probably didn't lose that edge, so it's probably still there. And if you're honing it, you can go a lot longer between sharpening. You have it sitting there on your butcher block while you're working, and you're just constantly, every time you feel your knife's getting a little bit dull, or you felt yourself come a little bit too hard down onto the cutting board, or you felt it run into a bone, the more you maintain a knife, you'll feel, God damn it, I know I just did that to my edge. Hone it back. The other thing is why this is so important. If you take a knife and you put it on a belt or a stone or whatever, and that edge is not straight and you didn't hone before, what you did was you took that little folded edge and you sheared it right off. So you not only made it that much harder for you to get the good edge back on your knife, you lost more material than necessary. So you can almost go months on just honing a knife and occasionally touching it up on the stone in like 2-3 minutes a day, barely even hardly putting any wear on that knife, and you can go a long time. And that knife, you can almost pass it on down to your kids without hardly ever losing any material. And then you get guys who they don't know how to hone, or they only use mechanical sharpeners, as in like a belt or a disc sharpener, and they're going through a freaking knife a month.
Oh yeah, and you will. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's sharp, but
yep. He says he's looking at the Ken Onion Work Sharp system, and it looks like it is a handheld belt sander. I have that, and it's actually not bad. It is, and if you do go with the Work Sharp, go with the Ken Onion version. It costs a little bit more, but it allows you to adjust angles. It's not bad. You're going to blow through little belts, the tiny little belts, really quick. I need to order some more. If I go way too long on a knife, and I need to put a damn edge up back on the thing. It's great. It's great for if I wear a bevel down. It does have all the little fine belts and shit. I never use them. Honestly, half the damn time, if I'm sharpening, I've got like a little puck stone that's it's like a fine and an extra fine grit that came with what did it come with? I think it came with a scythe I ordered, and it fits in the palm of your hand. I sharpen half of my shit with that most of the time because it's handy and I can throw it in a bag.
Yeah, I'll have to find the one I have. It was like $90, and it's worth every penny.
I'm pretty sure I've got that exact one saved.
More than likely the same one.
I've got the exact same one saved on Amazon, and I can post a link over there in the Telegram chat. If you've got questions on stuff like that for equipment for either of us and you want a link, I can try to post it in the comments here, but YouTube doesn't let you copy paste. But be sure you're in the Telegram chat, the Liberty Meat chat over there, t.me/Liberty Meat chat. Ask us over there. One of us will be able to drop a link. I can drop an Amazon link. Kyle might have something from Walton's or whatnot that we can throw up there that we've actually used. That's the other thing. If I throw out a recommendation on something, if it's an Amazon thing, it's an affiliate thing, and I get a little kick on it, that's great. But I don't ever recommend stuff that either I don't own or haven't used extensively enough that I would recommend it to somebody. So there's definitely a couple of good ones out there. I've had a cheap one from I want to say it was like Harbor Freight or something, a little tri-stone system. They do work.
I probably have that same exact one. It's only about
They work. The stones will fall off the little plastic triangle thing after a while. You can glue them back on. They gunk up really quick. One trick I learned about that, if you just buy a cheap tri-stone, everybody says put the oil on or whatnot. As it wears material off, that'll fill in and it'll just get stuck in that stone.
Yeah.
Somebody told me this one day, and next time I buy a cheapo just to fuck around with, I'm going to try it. So I'm not going to swear, don't get mad at me if this doesn't work. But if you go buy a $20 one, use dish soap instead of the oil. Because because it still allows you, it prevents the friction. It still allows you to smoothly grind on there, but then you just take it out and you go wash it off in the sink when you're done. And it should wash away, capture all those metal fibers and wash them away and leave the stone clean. So I'm going to try it out. I should probably do that. Maybe I'll swing by if I get done early enough, if it's still open, swing by the old Harbor Freight and buy one and try that as an experiment. Because I've got some knives I need to touch up anyway.
Yeah. And I have a YouTube channel now, so I should probably
Yep, Eric's got it right down here. Yep, 3-sided stone, finishing stone, and a steel. Yep. Absolutely. And don't get yourself a decent honing steel. I mean, any steel is gonna work. Yes, you can go and get that one that came with your freaking kitchen knife set and use it. That's fine. Yeah. But if you get yourself a decent honing steel, it is night and day difference.
I love mine.
Frederick Dick makes really good ones. They're known for that. But pretty much any quality knife manufacturer is going to have decent honing steels.
Yeah, I love mine. Mine is one of the ones where it has both the coarse and the smooth hone on it.
Yep.
And that thing is awesome.
Oh yeah. Just don't get one that is only coarse or only has grit, or it's like a diamond one. I actually have a diamond one that's actually really nice, but it's not a honing steel. It's basically a sharpening rod, and it was marketed as a honing steel. And I'm like, well, what the hell? You don't want to be. It's not made for taking material off. That's how you want to think about it. A steel is made for straightening your edge back out. And if it is a coarser, if it's got like a little grit, it may have like vertical ribs, which is nice. It works faster, which means you got to be a little more gentle on your touch. You'll learn how to do this by feel. The smooth one is, you can go a little bit rougher on it and still be fine, but you're straightening an edge. You're not removing material. Sharpening, you're removing material. You are grinding away at that knife. So understand that difference. That's something that escapes a lot of people. And I know a lot of butchers who don't know shit about maintaining a knife.
No, so, that's a skill in itself.
It really is. I've worked with a lot of butchers that really think I'm way too anal about my knives. I'm like, you guys are crazy, because you got to work with this thing all day long.
Literally the one tool we use all day.
And nothing is worse than spending all day cutting with a dull knife. Your hand will ache, your wrist, your joints will hate you. And they're not cheap, let's be honest. A good knife is an investment. So learn how to take care of it. It's your baby.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Gary says, "What's your opinion on the meat your maker meat grinder? Is a half power too small? It's on sale right now." The meat your maker grinders are decent from what I've understood. I've not used
Yeah,
them
I haven't used them,
personally,
but I've heard they're
but
good.
I'm pretty sure they are a white labeled Weston.
Yeah.
If they're not, they're similar. I've used very similar ones to it. I'm pretty sure I've probably used the same grinders, just under a different name. They're a
Right.
good price. They're a good price. I would personally get more than the half horsepower.
Yeah.
If you can get at least the 3/4 or preferably the 1 horsepower, get it if you can. And it probably costs you a few $100 more. I'm gonna tell you right now, $200 more on a grinder is worth every fucking penny.
Every fucking
Absolutely. I would try to go for a little bit bigger than the half, but it's my understanding is they're a good grinder. I've heard nothing bad about them.
Yeah.
In fact, I want to say I think I actually may have a fucking affiliate account with them. I've just never fucking promoted it. I've got so many of them that I've never promoted, so I really should look into that too. But yeah, I've actually thought about buying one myself as a backup grinder. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah, I actually have a full parts grinder.
Yeah.
That I got from my old boss at the USDA plant. Their grinder.
Oh, nice.
Their grinder went down. They had the parts grinder, but it was a different model, so they couldn't use it. Right. And I made the joke, like, because all of my equipment was just stashed in the garage. It wasn't a shop yet. And I was like, well, you can borrow mine. Ha, ha, ha. Like, whatever.
Right.
5 minutes later, he came in. He's like, you can talk to us real quick? He's like, can we borrow your grinder? And I was like,
can we borrow your
grinder? Of course. And they had an electrician come in. They wired it all to run on 3-phase, changed the oil in it, did a whole bunch of maintenance to it that I wouldn't have had the access to, like, easily.
Right.
And then when he brought it back, he brought the parts grinder because it was the same one. And so now I have a grinder and a parts grinder. All the electrics shot in it, most of it. But
that's always nice.
We still got the motor and everything. I'm actually planning on pulling the motor out and everything that I can salvage off of it for like to use as parts. And I'm gonna have my buddy weld on like a piece of 8-inch pipe off the front of it, and that's gonna be my new mailbox.
Even better. Oh man, I'll tell you what. Let's see here. Who was it? Gary, give me half a second. And if you, I'm going to give you a really easy way. If you do want to buy this, you want to help support the show a little bit. If you do buy one of those meat brand grinders, do me a favor and use my damn link. Oh shit. Yeah. I see why you say it's on sale. The half horsepower grinder, which is a size 8 head, it's small, is down to, it's $279. That's a great deal.
That's not bad.
The 1 horsepower is $700 right now. They've got a dual grind half horsepower, which I don't know about the dual grinds, but it's $449. That's actually a really good. They've got a 1 horsepower size 22 for $499 though. That's actually a really good deal. So you look at it, you go up from your half horsepower to your 3/4. Your 3/4 is $449. Your 1 horsepower is $499. That's a no-brainer right there.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that either one that you get, if I send you this link, if you decide to get a different model of grinder, you will, it'll still count towards me. And I want to say right now with this affiliate account, I actually get 7% of whatever the purchase price is in affiliate. So that would be pretty damn cool. Let me create this link and I will pop it in the YouTube chat. So if you do decide, save that link. And if you do decide to buy through them, hey, why not? It doesn't cost you anything. So drop that over there.
Talking about hand saws, we kind of went over that. LEM's good, but if you do it, go to the LEM website and buy the thicker blades.
Get the thicker blade. Absolutely.
It's going to be a game changer.
Yes. I wish I could find them somewhere else too, but those thicker bodied blades, man.
Well, that's why
it's night and day. It's night and day.
That's why I stopped using a handsaw, is because when I started the shop, I bought a Weston, which was nice.
Reuses in and it can't cut a straight cut.
Nothing. And you cannot find the blades for it. I've been on Weston, like the website. I've been on Walton's. I've been
That's
on
the
all
other
of them.
thing too. Yeah,
Can't
find
the
if
right
you are
blade.
going to do find one that you can actually get blades for. Now,
That
and
is
even the
so
ones that you think you can get the same ones by measurement,
You
if
can't.
it's a 1/4 inch off, that torsion won't work. It
No.
just you're just gonna you have to have a tight blade. That thing needs to be tight like a freaking violin string. You know. Yeah. Let's see here. I really hate using the hand saws.
Yeah,
But if let me see if I can find this here. I'm gonna see if Amazon actually added the blades, the thick blades. I don't think they did.
the last time I looked, they haven't.
No, I don't see it here. They've got what size did you have? The 16 or the 22? I want to say mine was the 16.
I had an 18.
Man, I'm seeing the 22 being sold more right now.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh no, maybe it was the 22. Now that I think about it.
No, there's a 16. That's the one I've got right there.
Yeah. Well, then
Now,
I bought like a 16 from Cabela's, and that was junk. Like.
Yeah. The Cabela's. I'm not impressed, but the thing is, even the Westons, I'm not a big fan of. If you look at the Westons, okay. The other thing is, if you look at those hand saws, the one thing I like about LEM, it's better than a lot of the more pricey commercial models because the handle actually wraps over the body and it has 3 rivets that hold it on. You see so many of these, even pricey ones that have 2 rivets, those handles loosen up and the whole saw becomes useless in no time. I mean, we used to go through them like crazy at the old shop I worked at where we did a lot of saw shit. I mean, 2-3 saws in a year, easy. And I mean, I'm talking a couple blades every day because I was using, this is before I really learned how to do most of the shit with a knife.
Right.
And which was one of the best things I ever did in my whole butcher career was learning to minimize my saw use. Man.
We used to, on lamb day, especially towards the end of the day, I was the leg guy. Like the legs just got tossed on the table. And I got to the point where I was boning everything out, but keeping all the tendons attached to each bone. So that you could hold up the pelvis like a marionette and have like the femur bones dancing around the table.
Right. I'm dropping the Amazon link in the chat for this is the 16-inch LEM saw that I do actually like if you're going to go that way. And the other thing is with that 16-inch size, you're more likely, if you do need to use the short blades, you're more likely to find that blade on the shelf.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Off that brand than just about anything else. Let's see here. I'm going to see, just because I don't want to forget and not do it later, I am going to see if I can find the direct link right now for the LEM saw blades and post it up here. That way people can find them. Yes, it's the 1-inch profile. All right, here we go.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got them. Now, this takes you to all of the LEM saw blades for all the different size saws. There's 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Do not buy the 1/2 inch.
No.
Buy the 1 inch. If you're going to order them on their website, just buy the 1 inch. It is so much more blade profile. It makes a huge difference. That blade does not wobble on you nearly as much. Let's see here. There we go. Drop that right there. Yeah, even if you do go buy that hand saw, just buy the blades. Please go buy the blades.
Yes.
It's like $12 for a pack of, I don't remember how many. How many come in a pack here? Let me see here.
But again, if you're taking any of our recommendations on this, you're not going to use that anywhere near as much as we are, to the point where like, oh, what am I spending my money on? I'm going to have to buy new ones. Like,
is this per blade? Shit. Okay, they got a little, man, they came up, but that's $13 for that blade. But your 1/2 inch blade is $9. So you're paying $4 more for a blade that, trust me, is going to last more than twice as long.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to want to pitch the whole saw off of a bridge about the 4th time you use that little floppy blade.
You'll be sitting there in the spine trying to chine something. It just goes, whang, like.
Yep. Or it's wobbling the whole time while you're trying to work with it, so you can't get a straight cut. And then eventually the whole blade will just kink.
Yep.
Stay that way. And you'll never be able to use the whole fucking saw again.
Rivets that hold it into the actual saw itself, those fly out of nowhere.
Those will wear off. Yep. And the whole thing goes ping. Yep. There is just so much more ass to those 1-inch blades. And you know what? Even a lot of the commercial handsaws that they use in shops that they pay $300-400 for the saw and $20+ for each blade. I hate to say it, but some of those are actually made more chintzy than that LEM.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I hate using them. I hate a handsaw. I despise them. But out of all the ones I've used, that's actually one of the better ones I've used, even looking at the commercial grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, Gary, glad you found us from Spirko over there. Glad more people are finding their way over from the Survival Podcast. Hey, that said, I need to get some more shit out to Jack so he can have some more content to throw out on the Expert Council days. So if you guys have questions that you'd like to hear on his show for me, make sure you email them to Jack Survival Podcast and let him know for Josh, the Renegade Butcher on the Expert Council, and I will get those off to him. So I think he's still got at least one in the can from me, but I like to try to keep a few ready for him so he has content to put up on his show. So I could use some questions, send them off to him, let him know. I'm sure I can come up with some stuff to send him, but it's always more fun when I'm actually asking people, answering direct questions from people too. So yeah. All right. So with saws, let's see what else we. Hey, you know what? I think it's probably a great idea for somebody to actually splurge and get yourself a decent size cutting board.
Yes, big. That's huge.
And there's nothing wrong with a solid wooden cutting block if you know how to maintain it and keep it clean.
Right.
But they are work. It's a skill. You need to learn how to maintain.
Oh yeah.
And they're a lot easier on a knife, but the poly boards are the easy button. Now I will say, if you are using those hand saws like we were talking about, or you're using especially the handheld reciprocating saws, you're going to put gouges in them, which makes them a lot harder to clean. Mine are all gouged up.
Oh yeah.
So it's a part of it. But
with steel with the metal scrubbers and get everything all set up for them. But
I'll tell you,
they're worth it. They're
high
worth it.
pressure sprayers help a lot.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But you know, the last thing you ever want to do, and I think a lot of people, I'm surprised by how many people don't realize this. If you don't use a cutting board and you went out and you bought yourself, a lot of folks get into chicken processing and they buy themselves a nice stainless steel table.
And you're just going to ruin your blade.
And then they cut on that. Don't ever cut on a steel surface with your knife. Please. There's nothing destroys your edge faster than doing that.
Metal to metal. It's not good.
You will see me physically cringe. The hair I don't even have on my back will raise when I hear a knife touch steel. It's bad. And when you get into maintaining your own blades, you'll understand it too.
What? The horsetail?
Well, maybe. If you want to hear about Kyle's horsetail, go and make sure to listen to Saturday's episode. Towards the tail end.
Listening.
Woo! But yeah, no, it's just please use a cutting board of some kind. It would, you'll thank yourself, and you know it's
a game changer.
There's a reason they exist. There's a reason we use them. And the other thing is, while I have them, if you really want them for just kitchen use, you want to buy a Renegade Butcher freaking glass cutting board, you can go and buy one on my website, but don't use one for heavy use for cutting. It's a solid surface. The idea behind a cutting board is it's a softer surface than the knife. It's supposed to cut into it a little bit. It's made so that it preserves your knife edge a little bit. It's supposed to give. You don't want to cut on a solid surface. Glass is harder than steel. It's hard on your edge.
Have you seen the honing trick about using your car window?
No, I've never used a car window. I've used the edge of a stuffer.
I saw a dude that had the window rolled down and took his knife and honed it on the open window edge.
You want to know what works really, really well as an extra fine stone?
What?
Take your coffee mug, your ceramic coffee mug, flip it over.
Yes.
The unglazed ring on the bottom, that actually works really good. It's like a really fine grit sharpening stone. Mm-hmm. Now, if as long as you've got that edge straight, man, it does work pretty good. It'll put a good mirror polish on a blade too.
Yeah.
So little trick for y'all too. If you don't want to invest in a fancy stone, if you can maintain that edge and not let your blade get completely wrecked, flip your coffee mug over.
Yeah. And then flip it back over and fill it with coffee and go listen to the
fill it up with some Renegade Butcher coffee. And hey, I forgot to mention that I was playing around with some domain names and stuff the other day, and I got my forwarding shit together. If you guys want some good coffee, and if you don't remember that you can go to renegadebutcher.com to buy all your shit, which you should. You go buy some spices. If you can go now to renegade.coffee and it'll take you right to my coffee.
Look at that.
I know. I was like, well, and I saw that was available. I'm like, well, I have to have it now.
Right.
So, I mean, it'll take you right to the coffee side of the Renegade Butcher shop. So there you go. Yeah. Well, speaking of coffee, let's see, we're coming up on about 2 hours. You got anything else you think of you want to cover before we wrap it up? I'm amazed I'm still on the air. I mean,
I know.
Whatever
happened. You appease somebody. I don't know.
I guess.
But
maybe.
No, I mean, I can't.
The feed needed some links.
Yeah. No, I think it's hard coming from our perspective. Do you guys use aprons, Haas ass? I do and don't. It depends.
What's your address? What's your address? Lisa wants to know where to send the bill for counseling after the horse tail.
No comment.
No comment.
But
he's like, I don't know what I was talking about before that.
No, I know, that's so funny.
He lost it.
Aprons.
About aprons. Yep, I do. And I tell you what, if you're going to be cutting meat all day, especially during the slaughter, I don't.
Those are the days where I'll probably won't wear it.
I've actually taken to the only time I put the apron on during the slaughter, most of the time, is while I'm gutting, because it's really hard to gut a cow without getting something on you.
You want to know why? Because you don't split the sternum.
Well, yeah. No, because I don't use a cradle.
I know.
That's why. I know. But no, you're gonna get a little something on you. You're gonna get the fat. The caul fat is gonna rub all over your pants and shit like that.
Jersey fat is the absolute worst.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
It gets up in there. It rubs on you for sure.
You get to the shower and you're waterproof. Like
yeah, no shit. But I'll tell you what, the other thing is, especially when I'm doing a lot with sausage stuff, the stuff flies. You get it on you when you're grinding. It's nice to have the aprons. A long apron is good. I have struggled finding aprons that I like for years. I have found some that I wish they were real leather, but I found some that are pretty thick, leather-like, that are long enough. I'm a tall guy. Finding a long apron, that's hard. And an apron doesn't do me any good if it ends freaking halfway down to my knees.
Yeah. I actually need to buy a new slaughter apron, like the rubber ones. Again, I just buy those on Walton's.
The thing you'll find, they're hot. You wear them all day long, they don't breathe. So you just sweat on the inside of them. So I've learned to minimize when I do need to wear them. But yeah.
But I got it for a wedding gift.
I wonder if I can find
years ago. Was one of like the canvas ones.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
They are nice.
I scrub it down after every use, and
I've seen some really nice waxed canvas ones.
That's what it is. But at this point, I've had years at this point, so it's less waxed and more scrubbed.
Right. Less wax on, wax off.
Exactly.
I'm trying to see if I can find. I think I need to log into the correct Amazon account here. I'm trying to see if I can find the last ones I ordered. I've ordered a couple of them, and they've lasted me pretty well. The only thing I don't like about some of the bigger aprons is they all seem to come with big pockets, and they're going to fill up with meat.
Yeah,
I found that.
The ones I get are literally, you get them, for the ties, it's literally just rivets where you can put your own strings in there.
Yeah,
it's just flush leather.
I get those too. I tear those so bad though.
Oh yeah, like I just threw out my last one because it was just getting gross. That's the hard part about all of this stuff is you can spend the money and buy it, but more often than not, you're just still going to go through it. You're going to have to buy it again. Like
the other thing about aprons, they're hard. If you don't get the ones that are a crossback, they're hard on your neck.
Oh yeah,
all day long, especially the heavier bodied ones that do last. Because I used to have to wear them all day long while I was slaughtering.
Yeah.
So I'm in an apron all day. You walk around with a heavy apron on your neck all day.
It's rough.
It does wear on you. The crossback ones, if you can get one that's a crossback, it's nice. Oh shit! The last ones that I ordered are not available on Amazon right now. Damn it! I went and had to go look it up to find. There are some cheaper ones. I will try to grab a link for here, but I'm trying to see if any of the ones I ordered in the past are available again. But yeah, I've gone through them quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Let's see here. Here's a cheapo that I've used, but expect to, yeah, go back. Go back. That's right. Show me the damn link. But yeah, expect to go through these if you do buy them. If you get some of these thin vinyl ones, the hardest part is finding them long enough. If you do go through and buy these, I would order 3 or 4 at a time.
Absolutely.
Because yeah, and the straps wear out. You're gonna put holes in them. Yeah, all the really good ones are unavailable. I'm going to post. Let me find it here. I'm going to post the link of the one that I currently have, and you'll see why I like it. The only thing I don't like is that there's pockets.
Yeah, I have pockets in my short canvas one, and it's fine.
I found a way around it, but yeah. The pockets are nice. It has the chest pockets, which are nice for putting a pen in. And that's fine. That's not really that big of a deal. But your waist height pockets kind of suck. All right. That last Amazon link I posted is it. Now the pockets they're outside, they're big, they're heavy stitched on. So what I do is as soon as I get one, I take a knife and I cut the stitching on the bottom. I cut a couple of slots so I can just hose them out and they just close out the pocket. It works pretty good. But they're that like really thick. I don't know if it's real leather or if it's the fake leather, but it's the really thick, heavy grained, and it's a cross back, and it's got the snap back. But it actually will cover me from about upper chest height down to just past my knees. Right. And I'm 6'2", so finding an apron that's long, that's hard to find. Now they are big, they're bulky, they're stiff. You just kind of hang them up in the corner of the shop, and they almost stand up. But
yeah, pretty much.
Another good way to go, and the hard part with this is you want a smooth surface. That's the main thing. You want a smooth surface that you can wash off. You don't want something that's going to absorb water. You don't want something that's going to be. I like to tell people like a welding apron is great, but get one that's like top grain. That's not like, you don't want that felt side.
No,
you want that smooth surface of that leather. It's awesome.
But do you mind if I post the link in the chat?
Yeah, go for it. Well, you may have to, because you're a guest, you probably have to post it in private chat and I can repost it. But yeah, go for it.
Well, I'm on my computer as well here.
Well, it's still, for some reason, it's a StreamYard thing. It doesn't let you. Yeah, but if you post it in private chat, I'll share it over. That's fine.
Yep.
Just hit the private chat, send it.
That one's nice. That's the one I use from Walton's. It's it's $20, $21.
Yeah. I have not seen the link. Did you send it?
I did.
No, it's not showing up for me. You sent it in the private chat part?
Yeah.
Huh. Weird. I've not seen it. Maybe it'll pop over, maybe it won't. All right. Anyway, if not, send it to me on Telegram.
Oh, okay.
If you got that open, that'll work, and then I'll repost it for you. Cool.
Perfect.
No, anything like that you recommend, man, I'm happy to share it over here because that's how we find shit. I've just over the years just keep buying shit until I find what works.
Yeah, I just done it.
Here we go. Okay. Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, and I got for $20. If this all comes back to how often you're doing this and like how much you're going to use it. For $20, that'll last you forever. Like I said, you can put your own strings on it, which is nice. You don't have to have like whatever straps come with it.
Well, yeah, Lisa, that's a good idea. My stitch puller is going to be whatever knife I have handy. I am not a seamstress. I've got knives though.
Exactly.
And then sew an extra length on the bottom. Problem with that is you can't really sew on a waterproof apron. You can't sew vinyl aprons together. And if I'm going to get a leather apron, I'm going to get one that's the right length to begin with.
Right.
That's really fucking sucks. But yeah, it's just, there's not a lot of good options out there. You don't want, this isn't Granny's kitchen apron, a cotton apron or some shit like that, because it just gets grungy. It gets grungy. Now, the old shop I used to work at, we had they had an apron service. They had like cotton aprons that people would use in the shop. And that's great when you get it all covered in gunk. If you're not the skill floor guy and you're not out there spraying water all day long,
right?
A soaked apron's a soaked apron no matter what. But just cutting, just packaging, those were fine because somebody comes and picks them up once a week and drops off another 100 aprons for the whole shop.
I got one.
I ain't about doing that much laundry.
Yeah.
Between rags and gloves and aprons, that place, and I'll tell you what, by the time they picked up that those couple of trash cans full of stuff, the smell.
That is one thing I miss is rags, like the rag services. I miss that.
Oh yeah, and absolutely. And Lisa, for doing stuff at home, for sure. I'm just saying, if you know you're going to do something that's pretty grungy, like handling meat, if you can get something waterproof, by all means, please do.
Oh,
you'll absolutely. Thank yourself. You'll thank yourself. It's
I was going to say rubber boots.
Meat and fat.
Get yourself.
It's the fat.
It's the fat. It's the worst. Yeah. It just works into everything.
It gets in that grain of the fiber of that cloth, and you're not going to get it back out. You almost have to cook it out.
My wife will look at shirts and go, "What happened to you? That you just put that on?" I'm like, "Yeah, I killed it probably a month ago." Like that's what happened.
Like crazy. Now, I always kind of prided myself on it was a running joke among everybody at the shop. They're like, "Josh is the only motherfucker here who can work that kill floor all day and still walk off the kill floor clean enough to go walk into the grocery store and nobody even knows."
Yeah, no,
but I that's after years of learning how to avoid getting myself super dirty. And the other thing, my other trick is I wear all black. You notice I'm always wearing black because it doesn't show blood. The only color that doesn't show blood.
It's the butcher's color. That's it.
You can't even wear red and get away with it. It still shows.
Oh,
it still shows. But another thing, and this is something nobody touches on. So as far as clothes, what are your preferred slaughter apparel? What do you like to wear as far as things that are going to last and are easy enough to keep clean while you're working? Don't say blue team.
I go the opposite. I go, what am I wearing that I don't really care about? Like I like wearing like regular work boots, but again, if you don't want to spend that kind of money to just get everything covered in blood, like you can pick up a cheap pair of muck boots at Tractor Supply or wherever that'll keep your feet dry. Again, any of those links for the aprons. And then other than that, it's just a pair of jeans. And
I won't ever wear jeans. When I'm doing slaughter shit because it's the water. It's the spraying everything down and they get soaked and they just are miserable.
Yeah. Well, the other difference, we get into these back and forths, and it's always because my shop is right there, and you are like an hour and a half away from your house, and that sucks.
Or I'm 3 hours away from everywhere else, and I'm on the road, and I'm helping some customer at their house.
Exactly. Yeah. It's you don't have the luxury of going, slaughter's done, I'm gonna go take a shower.
Right, exactly. I've got stops on my way home afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I like the military like BDU style pants.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I get them in black. People think I'm a fucking cop when I wear them, but whatever. I don't care. Yeah. The thing about them is they're made to last and to stand up to a lot of torture. They've got pockets, which is great for holding all my shit or whatnot. But the other thing about them is they dry. They dry fast by themselves. I can literally take a wet rag and wipe my own leg off and wipe fat and shit off. I can wash my pants down and they'll freaking dry.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that is beautiful. That's why I hate jeans because they just get soaked in blood and water and they just stay wet and soggy on you the whole damn time. And you gotta have to just change out of them, And I hate having to bring another pair of pants. I'll bring another pair of pants.
Right.
But they're comfortable. They've got room to move around in them, and everything. I like those. And then a black shirt. I always wear a black shirt, or be ready to change your shirt. Now if you're doing it at home, obviously it doesn't matter, But for me, that's what I go to for normal shit. And boots. I'll tell you what though, if you were like me and you worked in a kill floor all day long.
Yeah, I always had. If I was on the slaughter floor, it was always rubber boots.
God. Rubber boots are so hard on your feet.
Oh, it's rough.
It's horrible.
It's bad when you do that switch out of work boots. Because I don't know if you're like I've been wearing work boots since I was 14.
Exactly.
And I usually get like a month or a year and a half out of a pair. But it's bad when you swap out and you don't throw those boots right away. You just kind of put them somewhere. Yep. And you look at those black boots and all of a sudden they're just white with mold. It's like, hey, all right.
Yeah, I know. It's awful. And the thing about those too is they're so bad on your feet, especially on concrete all day.
Oh
That
I always always kind of liked them because I always bought the Chippewas,
Yeah.
super loggers. So
Uh-huh.
they had a bit of a tilt to them. Everyone called them my high heels.
Yeah,
But
well, I can see that. I can see that. You probably got that from your dad.
probably. But I liked them because I would always just kind of lean forward while standing up straight and just with that tilt, just kind of rest right against the bench.
Well, now you're out there in cowboy boots most of the time. So.
Yeah, no. The majority of my slaughters now are in cowboy boots. The majority of my cutting every day is in cowboy boots, and I have never been happier.
For me, it depends on the environment. It depends on the situation. If I'm out in the mud, they're going on, but they're also coming off as soon as I can get out of them. Now, when I was on the kill floor all day, I'll tell you what, the other unavoidable thing, especially because most aprons end right above where the top of the boots are, unavoidably, you end up getting water down inside of them. And I can tell you right now, because I used to work average 11-hour days, 6 days a week, killing animals, spraying myself and the animals and the whole place down with water constantly. I probably went through 800 gallons of water a day.
Right.
Trench foot is real.
Oh, absolutely.
Rubber boots do not breathe. And if you spend the majority of your day every day in rubber boots and your feet are wet, no. The best thing I ever did, and this totally changed it for me. I still have scars on my feet from dealing with it. I at one point was literally going home every night and spraying Blue Coat on my feet to deal with the fungal infections. But I have not had a problem since. What I do is I always wear compression socks. I've had varicose veins since I was a kid, but it helps a lot when you're on your feet all day anyway. I would wear those as my normal socks, but over top of that, heavy, thick, wool-based work boot socks.
Yeah.
Wool, specifically wool, they have to be wool-based because it wicks the moisture away from your feet. Doesn't matter. I can step in water and my feet won't be miserable and suck. And I know it sounds like that's hot and horrible, but your feet are going to be hot in a rubber boot no matter fucking what.
Right.
Wool also does help self-regulate. Guess what? You go over to fucking Afghanistan and they're wearing wool freaking parkas all day long. It keeps the heat out too. I wear them all year long, summer, winter, thick wool socks. It makes a huge difference if your feet do or don't get wet. If I know I'm going to be working where I can control everything and it's a clean area and I'm not having to stand in the mud though, half the time I don't wear boots. The last 4 cows I've slaughtered, I'm wearing Skechers with the wool socks, but I'm wearing Skechers.
Man,
but you know what?
That's got to be a look.
It is. It is. People look at me kind of weird, like, dude, why are you wearing like shoes?
Well, I think it's funny to get that on opposite reason. Like, I have people up here look at me showing up in cowboy boots, like, what? Why?
The only issue I have with cowboy boots is most of them don't have much for tread. They're slick. You step on a piece of fat and
over the winter, it's not cowboy boots for slaughter day. It's regular work boots because God forbid you hit a patch of ice and you are now sliding with a quarter.
Yes, exactly. Butchers on ice.
Yeah, exactly.
No, thank you. The Skechers, I spent so much time, especially during deer season, on concrete on my feet making sausage. I want something that's good on my feet. And no, they're not weird like little running shoe type things, but I get comfortable shoes. Right. And you know, if I know I'm not going to be out rolling around in the mud, I don't have a problem doing a slaughter with them when it's somewhere that it's a controlled environment. And I know how to work around it. I know not to spray myself in the feet. I know when to get the hell out of the way because, well, guess what? The stomach contents is about to come out. Mm-hmm. You learn these things as you go. Y'all are going to end up covered in shit. If you've never done it, you're going to get dirty as fuck.
Yeah, don't listen to anything we're saying because it's all a lie. You're going to get
going to get dirty. Yeah, it's going to be be Yeah,
guess what? We do this every day, and we still walk away disgusting.
It does. It does happen. It does happen. There are bad days. But
it's such bad days.
It's kind of like you go to an oil change place and you see that guy who doesn't have any oil on him, and you just assume he doesn't work. But then you go to find out that's the guy who knows all the shit and he's been there the longest and he's down there changing shit and somehow stays clean. He's just done it so long he knows how to keep clean.
Oh, so my favorite absolute favorite story of this is I was on the slaughter floor working one day, and I had to grab something at Lowe's on the way home.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a day I was like prepped
Oh,
to
great.
go on the slaughter floor. Like it was like hey, we need you over there today. Okay, cool, whatever.
Right.
I was covered. Like it looked really, really bad. Like on my face. Nobody
Straight
told
up horror
me I had
movie.
blood all over my face.
Yep.
So I walked in and they didn't have what I was looking for. And I'm like, well, it's not like me to throw away an opportunity. So I went and bought rope, or I went in my cart. And
Oh, God.
A tarp, rope, duct tape. I think I grabbed a hammer and maybe a saw.
Nice.
And I went to the register, put everything down, small talk to the woman, like, and she's looking at me like, uh-huh. And I went, you know what? I completely forgot my wallet. It's right out in the truck. I will run and go grab that real quick. And I just left and didn't go back.
You didn't want your ID attached to that purchase.
Just knowing that she had to go, like, call a manager to be like, can you cancel this out of the register? Also, I'm pretty sure that guy just killed someone.
He was covered in blood, and it smelled like something I've never smelled before.
Warms my heart. It warms my heart.
Oh, that's great.
That he probably still tells that story to someone. Like,
yeah, I'm trying to think of it. I'd have probably
time.
gone with rope, a tarp, and like 3 gallons of drain cleaner.
Yeah,
like lye
or something.
Lye, straight lye. Oh, that's great. That is fucking great. Oh shit. All right. Well, hey, now that it's starting to get dark and we've managed to make it 2 hours and I've been on the show at least an hour. I think probably about time to wrap it up. Well, we're going to keep everybody in the loop for that new shit that Kyle's going to be coming out with. So it's going to be Saturday night.
Yes. Saturday night is what I'm hoping for. I am putting everything. I have notes. I already have notes written down.
I'll make sure I've got some space on the StreamYard account. We'll make sure I don't have all my shit on there, clogging it up. We can get you figured out, get you set up, get something going. And just we'll figure it out a day or two ahead. And so what's the first thing you're going to cover? What do you think? You got a topic in mind?
I am covering Hereford cows.
Hereford cows. Ooh. All right, cool.
Got a dear place in my heart.
Right. So, perfect. Awesome. Well, let me know. We'll get you set up. We'll broadcast all that out and everything like that. So everybody, be sure to go check out all the stuff I got at renegadebutcher.com. I've still got those seasoning of the months ready to roll. I got this month's order shipped out already. So if you're interested in that, get on board. That's the only way you can get the exclusive little small batch crap that I fiddle with. But check out Nostr if you're over there too. I've got the pub key down below there. I've been selling a lot of stuff over there. Actually sold more stuff on there than I have off the website. So worth checking out. And a lot of times if I come up with just something that's funny and small, like a little one-off thing, and I just want to sell it, that's where I'm going to post it. It's not worth making a whole website listing and everything for something that's just going to be, hey, I've got 4 of these. So keep up with me over there too. Check that out. Check out the Renegade Butcher coffee. Some good shit. And before you know it, we'll have Kyle selling some shit too. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe some t-shirts or something. But
right. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. We'll get you a little merch store or some shit going.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. But I did want to say also that I'm starting to branch out more on the other social media apps and starting to open accounts that I had closed and stuff like that to just try and spread the love and do some stuff. So you can find me on Instagram at Backwoods Butcher 603. Same with Nostr. And that's it at the moment. I still haven't broken down and gotten to TikTok, but
he's planning on that's good. That your podcast is going to go up on your YouTube, right?
It's going to be it's going to be on the same YouTube. I'm not going to go ahead and do that. That'll just be Meet the Critters on the Backwoods Butcher YouTube.
So you'll go live on YouTube, and then your plan is you're going to take the audio and go out on the audio podcast too. Is that the thought?
That's the plan. I haven't figured that completely out yet.
I'll give you the easy button on that. There's a couple of ways.
I appreciate it.
It won't be hard. Easy enough.
So we're gonna play around with that and see what happens. And
there we go.
Awesome. We go.
Looking forward to it.
Enough, honestly.
Should be fun, man. Should be fun. The computer set up. We'll
have you on to talk about something.
Oh, I'm sure. You're gonna interview me on your show? Holy crap!
I would love to.
What?
It'd be awesome, like full circle.
Right? It's like a butcher circle jerk here. Can't get through a podcast.
No, we couldn't do it. We
Can't do it. Hey, you already brought up the horsetail. It was ruined.
I know.
Sorry, Lisa.
I couldn't let that go. You brought it up with your no back hair, and I couldn't let that one slide. I couldn't.
I had completely forgot about it until anyway, guys. All right, we appreciate y'all. We'll get the audio side of this up. We'll get this going. Thanks for checking out episode 40. Like I said, be sure to hit the like, the follow, subscribe, share this with everybody that you know who might be interested in learning more about butchery, meat, stuff like that, or just want to hear a couple of rednecks talk about awful shit. If we, like I said, let's get me up to that 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we'll make it worth the while on that big giveaway. So we got 10 episodes to go. I think we can do it. All right, guys, we'll catch you all later. Appreciate everybody hanging out, and you guys have a great night. Keep your knife sharp.